Speaker, the Prime Minister said that Canadians would judge him by the costs at the grocery store. Well, the Liberal record holds that Food Bank uses up 142% since 2015, and the Daily Bread Food Bank expects 4 million visits in 2025. Families are cutting meals while costs are climbing and wages stall. He promised he would bring relief, but he didn't bring home the bacon, an item that's up over 20%. So will the Prime Minister stop the bait and switch and cut costs so Canadian families can afford to eat?
Yeah.
The Honourable Secretary of State for Seniors.
Speaker, seniors who built this country should never have to choose between paying for groceries or heating their homes. That's why our government has taken action. We're cutting red tape, we're building homes faster, we've introduced dental care, and more than 2 million seniors are already signed up to get benefits. We're building an economy that works for everyone. Let's be clear, Conservatives have a record of pushing the retirement age higher, cutting benefits, and leaving seniors behind. While they're voting against seniors, we are empowering older Canadians and protecting their dignity and peace of mind.
The Honourable Member for Middlesex, London.
Promises are about as empty as Canadians' grocery carts. In Middlesex County, 1 in 4 families are food insecure. It means they have no idea where their next meal is going to come from. And food banks, they can't keep their shelves stocked. At the checkout, grapes are up 22%, canned soup up 26%, coffee up 22%, and sugar up 20%. The Prime Minister's policies have clearly failed. So will he back measures that actually cut costs, or will he keep feeding inflation while Canadians starve?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Children and Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question. Mr. Speaker, families clearly need support to tackle food insecurity. That is why we're ensuring that more children are getting nutritious meals at school, while saving parents hundreds of dollars with the National School Food Program. We're putting more money in parents' pockets, tax-free, every month. This is a program, may I remind my colleagues, that you all, on the opposite side of the House, voted against.
The Honourable Member for Sarnia-Lambton, Bekedrunong.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister said Canadians should judge him by prices at the grocery store. Well, since he got elected, Canada's food prices have surged 50% faster than in the U.S. After 10 years of Liberal rule, we have record lineups at food banks. Families can't afford to put food on their table. They're struggling. The Prime Minister promised he'd be different, but it's just another bait and switch. So when will the Prime Minister cut food taxes, stop his plan to double the deficit in order to bring grocery prices down?
The Honourable Minister of Northern and Arctic Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, Nutrition North is showing real progress with results that are reaching more Northerners every year. In its first year, more than 15,000 harvesters were supported, with hundreds of hunts and over 700 food-sharing initiatives from Nain, Nunatsiavut to Old Crow, Yukon, showing the program's reach across the north. In Nunavut, the price of flour in Rankin Inlet has dropped by more than 65%, and in Aluklik, a dozen eggs that was once nearly $10 are now just $5. And today, 124 communities across the north are being directly supported through Indigenous government.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Centre.
Mr. Speaker, after 10 years of Liberal mismanagement, food bank usage in Canada is up 142%. In Calgary, demand for emergency hampers rose another 17% this past year. The Prime Minister said Canadians would judge him by the cost at the grocery store. Well, they are. They're lining up at food banks. This isn't about inflation. It's about a government that's lost control of affordability, employment, and in the end, human dignity. When will the Prime Minister stop grading himself on promises and start delivering real, tangible results for Canadians?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Sport.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You know, Food Banks Canada does essential work on the front lines, but they also make recommendations for politicians like us for better policies to support Canadians. So I'd put it back on that member. When we had a vote in this House of Commons just not that long ago on a national school food program, he voted against it. Every time we have a policy to support Canadians like $10 a day childcare or dental care, they vote against it. When we bring forward measures to ensure that there's more affordable housing for Canadians, they vote against it. So if you're going to quote the Food Banks Canada report, please read the report and consider some of their recommendations.
Canadians. The honourable member for Calgary Crowfoot.
Mr. Speaker, the Calgary Herald reports record demand at the Calgary Food Bank as food prices at the grocery store continue to rise faster than inflation and as unemployment approaches 8% in Calgary. The Prime Minister said he'd be judged by the cost at the grocery store, and the verdict is a scathing indictment of this Prime Minister's performance. When will the Prime Minister stop running out-of-control deficits that are driving inflation, unemployment, and demand at the food bank?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, in the last election, Canadians had a clear choice between a leader with economic and business experience versus a leader opposite that has no economic experience whatsoever. We are laser focused on building a strong economy. We're cutting taxes for 22 million Canadians. We're cutting the GST for first-time homebuyers. Interest rates has just dropped. And we are going to build houses at a scale not seen since the Second World War. Mr. Speaker, it's time for the Conservatives to stop the rhetoric, help us build the strongest economy in the G7. Get on board.
The honourable member for Quebec-Mactaquac.
Mr. Speaker, after 10 years of this Liberal government, Canadians can't afford groceries. Back home, the River Valley Food Bank in Woodstock reports serving twice as many people this time of year compared to last. These increases span every age group, especially seniors. These are our neighbours. They're not just statistics. They're our family members and they're our friends. Can the Prime Minister tell this House how on one hand he plans on tackling inflation and bringing down grocery costs, while on the other hand he's doubling the nation's deficit? How's that even possible?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Mr. Speaker, every member of this House of Commons cares deeply about the cost of living for Canadians. But there's one difference, Mr. Speaker. There's one difference. On this side, we're bringing forward initiatives and opportunities for real Canadians by building this country, Mr. Speaker. We're going to build big, we're going to build bold, and we're going to build now, Mr. Speaker, with working Canadians. We're going to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, more opportunities for apprenticeship. Mr. Speaker, Conservative voters want this. I hope the opposition gets on board.
The honourable member for King Vaughan.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister promised Canadians he'd be judged at the cost of the grocery stores. Yet, in August, food inflation soared 70% higher than the overall inflation. Denise, a senior in Quebec, is now forced to skip meals to survive the crushing cost of living. This is another broken promise from a Prime Minister who has let our seniors down time and time again.
Shame.
Will this Prime Minister stop doubling the deficit in order to bring down inflation so seniors don't have to skip their meals?
That's right.
The Honourable Secretary of State for Rural Development.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Point out, Mr. Speaker, I've been hearing the Conservatives complain about food prices, Mr. Speaker, but not one solution, Mr. Speaker. Not one idea, not one iota of support for some of the measures we've taken on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker. So those are empty, hollow words, Mr. Speaker, and my message to the Leader of the Opposition and the Conservative caucus, slogans don't put food on the table, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, no one should have to go without food. Yet this week, the media reported stories of seniors who have to skip a meal to make ends meet. Unfortunately, this is the reality of a growing number of Quebec households, which are being hit hard by food inflation twice as high as general inflation after 10 years of this Liberal government. Food banks can no longer meet the demand, and the last budget item that our seniors can cut is their meals, skipping one a day. Is the Prime Minister aware of the financial insecurity of our seniors? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. According to Quebecers, the Conservatives every day seem to find their conscience here in the House, but when they have to directly support seniors and families, all of a sudden their conscience can't be found. When it's time to vote for the Canada Child Benefit to reduce poverty, they vote against it. When we have to vote on a GIS increase for the most vulnerable seniors, they vote against it. When it's time to reduce the age for retirement, they vote against it. We have a serious government that is going to grow our economy to protect seniors. The honourable member for Lévis-Lotbinière. Mr. Speaker, our seniors suffer in silence from financial insecurity, are also suffering from hunger, and they suffer from unaffordable rents and unexpected cost of illness. The PM can no longer even imagine the situation from his ivory tower. Inflation is eating away at all their hard-earned savings. When will the Prime Minister finally take action? The duty of a Prime Minister is to have both feet on the ground. Now the Prime Minister's honeymoon is over. The Honourable Minister. The Honourable Minister. The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation. We had missed that, this type of performance, but these dramatic effects from the Conservatives don't put food on the tables. They don't to help seniors. And now that Quebecers and Canadians have rejected the Conservative approach of cutting the programs they need, now we can lead an ambitious plan to increase the purchasing power for Canadians with tax cuts for the middle class and to grow the potential of the Canadian economy. And I hope that they will support this ambitious plan.